You guys better watch out because this anime is literally going to replace your favorite one even better than Jujutsu Kaisen. And if you like frieren, then you better buckle up your seatbelt like our boy here because your mind is about to be blown. Anyways, it always starts with truck-kun, so don't be scared if you hate watching people get reincarnated into another world. So this loser deserves it anyways because he hated everything, so he isn't going to miss anyone or anything, especially the fat zero in his bank account he's leaving behind. Nonetheless, shortly after getting clapped by truck-kun, our boy Kang finds himself getting Team Flash and transported into another world, but all he hears is a dragon's roar. Eventually, he can finally see after the light clears up from the Phoenix Flash, but all he sees are a bunch of tens gifted with not only tremendous magic, but also very tremendous and soft personalities, if you know what I mean. As Kang continues to descend down upon the army of mages who happen to be all girls, Bro is beginning to think he's just getting pranked. Meanwhile, the mysterious glowing lady on the other end of the room flashes a smile, telling her comrades that our homie undoubtedly has the energy of a dragon. Regardless, upon Kang's feet finally touching the ground, the mysterious lady shouts and welcomes our boy to the country of dragons, which we promptly learn is named Sultan. The lady then introduces herself as the Queen of Sultan, who goes by the name Burr. But I do admit Burr do be looking like prime a 5-wagyu that any of you would love to devour. Anyways, as she continues to explain to Kang where he is, a magic circle begins encircling his feet, and once it finally became still, Burr confuses our boy by appointing him the rank of Supreme Knight Commander. Of course, Kang is totally shocked at what the heck is happening, so he takes a peek around only for him to realize he's surrounded by female knights only, so it looks like he might have hit the cultured anime jackpot. Still, Kang is a man of zero words as he continues to stay silent, but since he's a weeb and have watched so much anime, he tries to see if he has any powers to no avail. Bro then accidentally lets one rip and stinks up the whole room due to his anxiety, but luckily for him, one of the mages interrupts his oofsie and informs the queen that Kang indeed has the energy of a dragon. However, there's a small catch: the energy is really faint because it only makes up 3% of his body, and upon hearing the revelation, red energy begins to circulate around the lower parts of his body. At this point, the energy doesn't move anywhere else, so the girls inform him that the dragon energy can only be found in his hidden tamed beast beneath the diamond-plated pants. Fast forward 10 minutes later, Kang finds himself right behind Burr, who's trying to explain how he's had draconic energy even before he reincarnated. But Bro is getting distracted by the ice cream cake that keeps smashing together in front of him. So as she continues to yap, his actual mini-dragon starts the rumbling down below like my boy Eren. But I don't blame him since it'd be hard to stop the Phoenix from rising after witnessing a crazy double-decker. Unfortunately for Kang though, someone else catches him being a supreme sussy baka in 4K, so within the blink of an eye, a real sword appears out of nowhere, causing Kang to finally snap back to reality. A silver-haired beauty then appeared, but she happens to very much look like an elf, ordering him to stop and ends up calling Kang out by asking what the heck he's staring at. Bro then quickly diverts his gaze and acts like he was zoning out due to ADHD, but the elf does not look pleased, and let's just say, if we scroll down the scene any lower, then the family-friendly police will come knocking. Nevertheless, just as the elf was about to teach our boy a lesson to not be a sussy Becca, the queen saves the day and swiftly stops the elf, wondering what's going on. So upon calling out her name, we learn that the silver-haired girl is named Ardella. Now unable to punish Kang for trying to be a Chris from Mr. Beast, Ardella angrily points out that the outsider from another world has been busy staring at some very well-crafted cheesecake the entire time Kang and Burr were on a walk. And with Bro caught red-handed, he doesn't make his case any better when he looks down and realizes that his special dragon can now be seen trying to escape the prison in between the zippers, so it looks like it's Jover for our homie. Luckily for Kang, Bro somehow gets away with it since Burr surprisingly latches onto him to get in between him and Ardella, where she even goes as far as to order Ardella to sheath her sword while defending Kang for being a sussy baka. Burr then uses some mental gymnastics to explain that it's not his fault since Kang is half dragon, so his powers are probably acting up at this very moment. Suddenly, the Fire Nation attacks when Ardella instinctively knees our boy right where it matters to try and calm down the banana-flavored ice cream popsicle, refusing to believe that Kang is the chosen half-dragon. Nonetheless, after directly making contact with his third foot, Ardella stares Kang down while pressing her double blue eyes white dragon against our boy, claiming that there is no reality in which he's half-dragon. She then continues on berating him in front of the speechless queen, continually getting bounced back and forth due to insane density of her twin pyramids of Giza, warning Kang if he continues to be a sussy baka, then it will all be game over very soon. But right before Ardella could continue making king-level threats, Burr finally steps in and interrupts her mid-sentence, asking her to leave Kang alone, but we all know Bro is trying his hardest right now to not accidentally explode the volcano after Ardella was properly using her twin cannons. At the same time, Kang continues to not mutter a single word, so this dude is literally worse than Link from The Legend of Zelda, but luckily for him, Ardella finally stops attacking him when Burr had to pull out the bestie. "Please can you do this for me" card. Now with our boy free to move again, he ends up arriving at the Queen's personal tea drinking area where he is greeted by a fox maid, so it already looks like the sussy Fire Nation is about to invade his brain again. It's then revealed that Bro is a special one, since we discover that it was actually a dream of his to meet a real-life girl furry, especially ones with real tails, so this dude truly is a sussy baka. Nevertheless, with the fox maid swiftly filling up his cup of tea, the Queen sits down in front of him and reintroduces herself as the dragon Sintes, where she tells him that it's an old Sultan tradition for a half-dragon to become Knight Commander to defend the entire country. However, Kang replies by saying he's not sure if he can believe any of this, and besides, he doesn't feel welcome in this fantasy world due to his encounter with Ardella. As such, Burr personally apologizes for her behavior in her stead, and explains that Ardella isn't usually like this, but the circumstances are a bit awkward since the two have been childhood friends and she even happened to be the previous Knight Commander before he teleported into this world. Regardless, our boy doesn't seem like he can be convinced to take up responsibility, so he tries to make an excuse if they are even sure he has dragon blood in him, since he literally feels exactly like the same old loser. Upon hearing Kang seemingly doubt if he really is half-dragon, Burr blushes and summons the fox maid. So now my sussy alarm bells are ringing after hearing Burr ask Ryle to help him out. Suddenly, the fox maid Ryle teleports in front of our sitting Kang, where she then lowers herself and proceeds to unbuckle the front driver's seat that contains the mythical dragon fruit of our boy. Now the crazy part is that Ryle looks like she isn't even bothered by her actions. Instead, she looks like she's about to fall asleep after grinding the third seat all month. Eventually, she uncovers the Ender Dragon from Minecraft, but the dragon was so large that it accidentally slapped her in the face. But she didn't mind, so she ends up clapping the dragon using her patented mouth-breathing technique to send Kang to the sussy dimension. Suddenly, his dragon chicken strip turned red, causing our boy to freak out, but the Queen tells him to relax, mentioning that it's all fine and dandy, since this is just Real's magic taking place. Anyways, with Kang calming down due to Real being a suction cup from another world, she almost chokes from the red chicken strip, so she instantly turns around to the Queen and informs her that she's 169% sure that Kang is half-dragon, causing Burr to look like she's about to pass out. At this point, Bro looks like he's just being chilling, even though his banana split sundae is getting finished by Real, so he ends up asking if the tattoo he has actually proves he's half-dragon. Now me personally, if I showed up to another world and my dragon-long sword now has a new mark on it, plus it glows red, when a fox girl tries to 1 versus 1 duel me, then I am going to believe everything they say. Nonetheless, even with proof that he actually is half-dragon and getting a chance to live his dreams with a fox maid, Bro turns to the Queen and lets her know that he hasn't said anything about accepting the Knight Commander rank. As such, the Nation of Women tells him it's okay if he can't decide right now, so they end up giving him a very posh and large room to rest for the night, although Bro looks like his life force went to 0 thanks to Real. Now back to his lonesome self. The first thing stuck on his mind is how he can't play Roblox anymore, even though the dude just got his corn dog destroyed by his dream girl. Mere seconds later, after thinking about how much he's missing out on, especially not being able to try out the game of the year in Black Myth Wukong, he gets ganked by Ardella outside his room, who's eager to ask him why he won't take the position of Knight Commander. Initially, Kang teases her by saying he doesn't want to steal her rank, but things got serious when the lights dim and he learned of the lore behind the Knight Commander of Sultan, as a half-dragon hasn't appeared since the 3rd century. And since the nation is basically powerless without a real half-dragon defending the country, Sultan is in danger of collapsing, as most nobles want Burr out of power so they themselves can take the throne from right under. Ardella then reveals to him that although she absolutely hates sussy men like him, he's pretty much their only choice to protect Burr from foreign invasion, since she knows time is running out and at any moment, Sultan can turn to dust without a true Knight Commander. Nevertheless, Bro finally starts thinking about taking up the mantle, but he decides to sleep it off first. However, as he snores throughout the night, his door slowly swings open. Our boy was not expecting any visitors at this hour. 2 seconds later, he feels something heavy on top of him, and spoiler alert, it wasn't Zion Williamson. Instead, Kang opens his eyes to find Ardella mounting the closest weapon on him, and this time it looks like her entire personality has switched at 180. With Kang still half asleep, his life flashes before him as he thinks he's about to meet the devil, but he fails to realize that Ardella is looking very sussy. Luckily for him, she starts mumbling about how the Queen will be in really bad trouble if he isn't a real half-dragon. As such, Erdella initiated her own 1 versus 1 duel with our boy by quickly inspecting his Dragonite, but as she does so, she says Spanish or English so bro doesn't dare move a single inch. Nevertheless, Erdella angrily whispers to him that she's going to personally verify the rumors about him being the chosen one, so she grabs onto his mythical fruit and starts playing with his PlayStation controller as if she's playing a fighting game. The turntables then turn when Erdella latches onto his fighting stick like a maniac, trying to beat out Zero with all her might, but she stops for a second and scoffs at Kang for looking like he's enjoying the fight. Suddenly, the crazy elf whips out her trusty sword and tells Kang that if he can't stop the lava from exploding due to his volcano erupting, then she's going to take it as a sign that he's full human, so it's time to get rid of him. Now with Bro actually facing the threat of banishment from this world any second, even though it's been barely a day, he tries his hardest to stop the volcano from going off, but it looks all of his efforts will be futile. Nevertheless, Erdella continues yoinking the fighting stick as if her favorite Minecraft SMP server just reset, easily causing Kang's dragon to continually glow due to the mark bestowed upon him as he tries his hardest to keep it all in. However, Bro knows he's no match against the gorilla grip of Erdella, so Kang attempts to pull a big brain move to relieve the blood flow rushing down by distracting the elf with the help of the glass bottle conveniently beside him. Sure enough, his big brain move pays off more dividends than Starbucks, allowing Kang some short reprieve as Erdella lets go of his super excited controller for a few seconds. Shortly after, Erdella turns her attention back to our boy and whips out her sword, which is actually almost as big as Kang's dragon, and tells him to stop playing games as the two hero maids scurry right outside his room's hallway after hearing the glass break. This time, she ain't playing no games other than Deadlock, so Erdella informs Kang that one more dumb move will actually lead to him hoping he gets reincarnated one more time. Luckily, a bunch of maids with no eyes come to the rescue last second, so we all know things are about to get real as they suddenly barge through his door in hopes that nothing happened to the future savior of the Kingdom of Sultan. However, much to my surprise, Kang's dragon plate legs somehow are already back on in time, so he apologizes and tells the maids not to worry as he apparently accidentally knocked over some glass while he was sleepwalking. So it seems like the Sussy Nation won again as Erdella was able to escape detection like Solid Snake, as she was able to quickly jump out his window in time. But Kang is left fearing for his blue eyes white dragon as he knows snitches get dragon stitches. Fast forward to the next morning, Bro gets a flashback to his 9-to-5 life as he had to wake up early, but the only difference this time is he's forced to train and he didn't even get to explode his ice cream cone in peace last night. To make matters worse for our boy, the one leading the training this morning is none other than the sussy baka that is Erdella, but it seems like his secret weapon hidden underneath is starting to wake up at the sight of the elf. Regardless, rumors about how a half-dragon has finally appeared after centuries have started to spread within the court of the queen, but the dude seemed jelly that an alpha Chad has finally showed up. Suddenly, as Bro's just being chilling minding his own business not bothering anyone, a sword comes flying in from nowhere which almost gives him a perm without him even visiting his barber and asking for one. One blink later, Erdella pulls the sword out from the wall and sarcastically apologizes for almost destroying our boy, claiming that her hand accidentally slipped, but she better choose her words carefully since Kang will accidentally slip his hand somewhere else. However, Bro literally says nothing throughout the entire ordeal, and the only sound he makes is him looking over his shoulder trying to do his best quiet John Cena impersonation, causing Erdella to finally tell him he needs to be on alert at all times since this is the dueling area after all. But the turntables turn when Erdella calls him a fraud, so Bro finally claps back with a menacing aura by thanking her for her advice and advises her to retire since an ex-Meg commander would never let a sword accidentally slip. Unfortunately for Kang though, Bro didn't expect the fiery elf would actually channel her inner One-Punch Man skills after hearing the lowly human try to clap back against her, so Kang instantly falls to the ground. After finding himself on his knees totally winded, Erdella reminds him that he's nothing in this kingdom until the queen officially conducts a ceremony for his official title, so until then he's just a nobody from Edward Gaming. Erdella continues on, urging Kang to pick up the sword to challenge her to gain her respect, but something can be heard clicking in Kang's head after getting belittled over and over by Erdella, exactly just like his life before on Earth as he got trampled on by everyone. This time, however, he's had enough. He's not going to sit back and take it like he always did. And to be clear, we aren't talking about him dropping the soap, so Bro ends up taking the opportunity to finally make a stand to become a man. Upon accepting her challenge, Erdella wastes no time as she swiftly rushes forward to gap close the distance like a real jet entry onto sight, yelling out loud it's time for trash to learn where they belong. However, with Kang's impending doom right before his eyes, he tries to get into defensive stance since he literally has zero skills, and the only thing he knows comes straight from video games. but his sword is stuck in the ground. It's over now for our boy as he realized he got super baited by Ardella, knowing full well he didn't have the strength to remove it. But right before Kang was sent to the Sussy dimension, Bro comes out of nowhere and tries to be his shield like an absolute Stacy, ordering her best friend to stop at this very moment, as this is more outlandish than eating raw meat since Bro is the chosen one. Nonetheless, Bro is able to once again save our boy, so Bro sits down in absolute shock as he keeps getting saved by a girl, and it's usually not like him to always bottom frag and to get carried by a random girl that locked in Reina. Nonetheless, Bro profusely apologizes in behalf of Ardella, but she wonders what the heck got into both of them to straight up duel to zero, since Ardella is literally the greatest swordsman of the Eastern continent as her power level is over 9,000. Even if he is a half-dragon, her experience greatly outmatches him, so there's no way he would stand a chance in his current state, so Bro ends up informing him that she suspects Ardella doesn't think he's worthy, and thinks things might not become easier even after he officially gets crowned the Knight Commander. As such, after hearing the revelation that Ardella is indeed saltier than the Dead Sea, Bro tells Bro to not worry since he has a plan to make her accept that he is actually a true half-dragon. Kang then quickly gets up from his seat, faster than me when I have to go to the bathroom, so he rushes past the queen, informing her that he's going to strike while the steel is hot and he will for sure be back in time for dinner. Upon seeing the newfound resolve of the half-dragon, the queen smiles and quietly wonders what changed in our boy, but all she hears is Bro mumbling that he's going to show Ardella who's on top from now on, causing my sussy senses to begin tingling. Mere seconds later, Kang confidently grabs a bottle of water and proceeds to spill enough to fight off the Californian wildfires on Ardella's head, whilst ordering her to fight him, causing everyone within line of sight to visibly get lockjaw from all the gasps echoing throughout. Even the queen looks like she's about to pass out from the crazy insulting display as she knows Bro is about to get cooked in front of everyone, and this time she's not going to be able to hold back Ardella from destroying him outright. However, after accepting his request to duel to Life Force Zero, we get fast-forwarded to nighttime where we discover Kang wanted the duel to happen in his room and without the use of any swords, which totally confuses Ardella. Now me personally, if I was Ardella, Bro would find himself in another dimension right now, but it looks the sussy turntables have turned, and this time it's Ardella finding herself backed up against a wall with nowhere to go. Nevertheless, her ego has grown so big combined with her desire to absolutely destroy Kang with all her might has made her IQ drop into the double digits, unable to realize that the Sussy Nation has arrived and it looks like it's going to start with her. As Ardella mocks our boy for thinking he can beat her swordless in close combat, Kang smirks knowing she didn't account for the fact that Bro actually has a secret weapon, and it's even sturdier than a diamond sword with maxed out perks. As such, Kang whips out his secret Ender Dragon in front of Ardella, but she just laughs at him, calling him dumb as bricks as she reveals that since she's a royal elf, she has a mana shield that protects her boat from being invaded and it's literally unbreakable. Bro then watches on as Ardella transforms into her Freaky Friday mode where she begins trying to entice the Chosen One into attempting to use his real dragon to beat her mana shield 1 versus 1 by flashing him with the sight of her precious treasure. However, she informs him that if he tries to do anything sussy against the mana shield, then the shield will instantly shred any normal man's dragon longsword faster than a kitty can react. But with Kang wanting to prove himself, our boy loses all of his logical preservation instincts and proceeds to attempt a 1 versus 1 duel against her shield. So Bro channels his inner Malphite skills and goes for the touchdown. Right before his ultimate makes contact with Ardella, Bro closes his eyes not wanting to see what's about to happen, but a flash of blue light began filling the room after Ardella's mana shield shatters from a single hit of the half-dragon. And before they knew it, Bro was able to sink her ship with one shot, causing Ardella to quickly conform to the shape of the dragon handler, so a loud audible gasp louder than Chicago's South Side rang throughout the palace. At this point, Kang stared into the soul of Ardella whilst thanking his master, the pervy sage, for all the tips he's given him, so now it's time for our boy to use his sussy jutsu to full effect. With their 1 versus 1 duel totally underway, Ardella is basically stun-locked due to the sheer force of Kang's attacks, causing her to be in absolute disbelief. With Kang's banana tree plantation now fully within the special mango cake of Ardella, his special dragon mark begins to glow brighter the stronger he attacks the elf, allowing Ardella to really experience the power of a half-dragon. Yet, with all the marks of the Chosen One out in full display for Ardella to see, she continues to refuse the notion that our boy is the Chosen One, so Kang continues their sussy 1 versus 1 duel to show Ardella who the real boss is. At this point, the ex-Knight Commander is unable to handle the dough fruit spammer, so she can't speak full complete sentences as it sounds like she forgot how to speak English. Regardless, Kang suddenly stops his sussy Fire Nation attacks and sends Ardella straight to the floor since he has to reload his machine gun nicknamed Odin, but Ardella is still stuck in denial. However, a few seconds later, round 2 of their 1-versus-1 duel begins, but this time Ardella knows she's in real trouble after looking down and noticing that there's a major water leak forming on the ground, so it looks like Kang's domain expansion jutsu is claiming its first victim. Anyways, just a few seconds into round 2 of their duel, Ardella's eyes disappear, so we already know the former Knight Commander is feeling the good goods, so Kang lights up some candles whilst mentioning how he thinks Ardella's body is super weak. Now, utterly defeated in the hands of a human, Kang finally looks relieved that he's got the cultured anime situation all wrapped up, but Ardella looks behind her and tells Kang that there's no way he's a half-dragon, and that this must be all some kind of elaborate magician's trick. After hearing Ardella continue to refuse straight-up facts right in front of her, he decides to turn the sussy turntables again by quickly ganking her from behind as Bro assumes prime attacking position. However, as Bro starts round 3 of their best-of-5 championship duel, Ardella tries to counterattack by channeling all her mana to create another shield only for it to get shattered as fast as it manifested. So with nothing else Ardella can do to refute the fact that Kang is the ultimate sussy baka in this world, she continues to berate him while accidentally making gorilla sounds midway, so Kang can't be helped to raise his right hand to show Ardella another dimension of power. 2 seconds later, a large smack can be heard causing the ripples of time to adjust by a strand of hair, allowing Ardella to make faces better than Bella Porch, so it looks like Kang plans to continue throughout the entire night. Anyways, as time slowly passes for Ardella, she slowly stops saying anything as it seems like her vocal cords forgot every word in the dictionary, and instead only knows how to make the sound O over and over again. Nonetheless, Kang decided to spice things up when the 3rd hour hit, so Bro took it upon himself to grab one of the candles and then proceeded to whisper to Ardella how funny would it be if her own servants accidentally heard her right now. So now, armed with the scented candle, Bro maniacally laughs like an evil villain as he begins pouring the scented liquid on Ardella's ice cream cake, but somehow, Bro knew Ardella secretly loved this sussy display of affection. As such, Ardella reaches the climax of the mountain over 10 times, causing her to slip away straight onto the bed as Ardella basically passes out from the intense emotions she's feeling, exactly like the ones from the movie Inside Out 2. Nevertheless, just a few seconds later, Bro wakes up Ardella by accident just from his immense aura suddenly surrounding him, so upon seeing the elf conscious again, Kang tells her to accept this as a reward due to him rising up to the rank of the Supreme Knight Commander. Now that the entire room is filled by a mysterious aura being emitted from Kang's body, Ardella has no choice but to submit to the new Commander-in-Chief as her own eyes become fixated on his half-dragon emblem. However, as she was finally about to accept total defeat, Ardella only realized now that Kang really do be a menace, as our boy decided he wanted to go for round 69 by waking up his pet dragon, where he then readies his aim to go full blast mode. Spoiler alert, Mans does not miss, so Kang lands a direct bullseye using his Nerf gun, causing Ardella to reach another level she never thought was possible, as her sussy levels are far exceeding over 9,000, whilst Bro cautions her by saying it's time to fill up the gas tank to the brim. Eventually, light started to break through the window, where we discover Kang stayed true to his promise of chubbing along all night, where we also find out that the Sword of Sultan has been absolutely dismantled. Fast forward to later on in the morning, it's revealed that Ardella and Kang are the most popping topic of the rumor mill, as everyone within the palace are busy talking about all the loud noises they heard throughout the night. Now speak of the devil, Ardella conveniently catches 2 maids in 4K busy yapping about the rumors about her and Kang, but luckily for the two, she just keeps walking on past them without even showing off her sword like usual. Nevertheless, after finally reaching the end of the hallway, she instantly gets rid of her poker face and ultimately shows her true feelings, as she can't believe how shameful she feels even though she's a high elf noble. Regardless, a flashback then occurs, where we find Ardella looking like she's getting electrified like Tesla every second, even though Kakashi is nowhere to be found, and it's all thanks to Kang's powerful dragon. As she's stuck squirming like a little worm due to the aftermath of their 1-versus-1 duel, Kang grabs a sword and reminds her that from now on he's now her boss, so Ardella better act accordingly. Back in the present, Ardella finally arrives at her morning destination, where it's revealed she showed up in front of the queen and her new master just to protest having to teach any kind of swordsmanship to Kang, as she doesn't want to do so. But with Burr on his side, she tries to convince Ardella to no avail. But as Ardella argues with Burr, she accidentally slips up and finally acknowledges how Kang is a real half-dragon, causing our boy to flash a smile. He then turns to the elf queen, saying out loud that it's good his day's work didn't go to waste now that Ardella respects him in a twisted way, making Burr happily think the two talked it out last night. After confirming with Ardella that she doesn't need to go to the ceremony to believe that Kang is actually half dragon, she turns to ask her best friend what they did together to suddenly change her mind. Clearly, Ardella can't just say they did some rice cake destroying leading to her world being put upside down, so unable to tell the truth, she fans herself with her hands and storms off away whilst angrily claiming that nothing happened. After slamming the door behind her, Bert tells our boy that Ardella has been acting super weird lately, but she shrugs it off as she's more worried about the fact that they still need someone to teach him expert swordsmanship skills. Burr then continues on and mentions how the Knight Commander is usually just a symbolic person, but after some recent events in the nearby half-human nation of Ultra Scale, a very sussy group has taken over power and now even more danger has arrived at their borders. Suddenly, as Bro was about to fall asleep because of all the boring backstory the Queen is retelling, Kang instantly wakes up when she mentions how diplomacy in this world is settled between a real one versus one duel from the two chosen warriors of both nations. And since rumors have already spread throughout all of Sultan that a half-dragon has finally emerged, our boy happens to be the one representative that will have to participate in the duel no matter what. To make matters worse, Bro learns that this duel happens to be a duel to the death, causing him to instantly scurry outside the royal room to try and catch up to the #1 swordsman in the Eastern Kingdom. After huffing and puffing with all his might looking like some dude that was busy eating some red-hot Cheetos, he finally catches up to Ardella and quickly swallows his pride, not wanting to hit Life Force 0 as he is totally scared of the idea of getting clapped himself. Unfortunately for him though, after spamming his special Z move on Ardella all night long while stuck on a 10 million bounty, she just makes fun of him for using her as a personal hot pocket, so there's nothing for him to learn from her. Regardless, Bro finds himself forced to try playing hot and cold against Ardella, knowing full well his life depends on it, so he starts making up the fact that he's only doing this for the honor of Sultan as he doesn't want them to lose against Ultra Scale. After blurting out that he only cares about the nation, Bro gets some instant relief when Ardella turns around looking like a less scary Lord of the Rings elf DLC, claiming that it's super admirable and he wants to train for the honor of Sultan. However, the turntables turn when her face swiftly turns into a dark shadow after making him think she would actually train him, so she lets him know she would rather send his life force to 0 now, instead of watching him be forced to embarrass the nation. Ardella then continues on berating Kang, informing him that the title of a knight should only belong to those willing to sweat and bleed for the honor of a country, and it's a disgrace a foreigner like him can be bestowed the title. After dropping emotional bombs on Kang as if it's the time of the month, Ardella smirks and begins walking away while saying out loud that she would actually prefer for him to lose as it's better for the kingdom in the long run. But as Ardella walks away, Kang's eyes immediately locks onto the bakery out in full display as Bro can't help but notice the great Jiet swinging side to side after every step, and it doesn't help his slumbering phoenix instantly woke up and began rising from its ashes. As such, our boy goes for the legendary 5-finger discount out in the open, causing the closed-up bakery to quickly get even more fresh since Ardella never expected the gank to be so audacious during daytime where anyone can catch them. Of course, Ardella swiftly tells Kang to remove his dirty gamer Mountain Dew riddled hands away from the legendary Buns Bakery, but Bro does the opposite and proceeds to close the distance between them whilst trying to cosplay the claw machine by increasing the intensity of his orange squeeze. So now with just a single 5-finger discount, Ardella begins to tremble and quake as if a mighty earthquake with magnitude 6.9 appeared out of nowhere, so she tries her best to cling onto the nearest wall for support. She then tries to reason with our boy to not do this out in public, since just a few meters shy from them are a few knights of Sultan busy training and literally anyone can walk by at this very moment. Unfortunately for Ardella, Kang is in no mood for hitting the brakes right now since it's his prime opportunity to gain some leverage against her to agree to train him, so he slowly walks his hands up to the treasured golden elf spot. After finally finding the entrance of the secret weak spot of the former Knight Commander, Kang informs Ardella that he will only stop with one condition, and that's if she pinky promises right now that she will teach him how to properly use the sword. However, Ardella stays quiet and says nothing after hearing Kang's demands, so it sounds like she might actually be the true sussy baka here, as it looks like she wants Kang to proceed with his sussy jutsu as Bro is literally knocking right at her door. Surprisingly, after Kang makes an explosive entrance inside Ardella's secret hiding spot, she doesn't try to escape or do anything to stop him from advancing. Instead, she fully accepts her fate without succumbing to Kang's one condition. At this point, it's all up to Ardella now to make sure no one catches them in the middle of a sussy 1-versus-1 duel due to her voice getting louder and louder like a true fan patiently waiting at a Taylor Swift concert. Nevertheless, Ardella tried to bait Kang to assert dominance, but her plan to bite Kang's fingers off like some kind of brownies did not work, due to her body being too weak to handle any kind of strength, so she ends up getting pushed closer to the window where everyone can see. To make matters worse, it looks like Bro thought Erdella's bait was actually some kind of move to try and entice him to channel more alpha wolf energy, causing him to hurriedly whip out his dragon longsword ready to conquer all. Kang is then unable to handle how corny his dragon is, so upon seeing how much Erdella's fountain was leaking, Bro went all out and began sending his pulsating attacks at Erdella, causing her to make a sound that even the knights from down below could hear. The knights pause for a second after hearing a lady, but they see no one up the windows, so they end up just shrugging it off, thinking that they might have trained too hard today, so it could have been their brains trying to make a fool out of them. Now stuck in a sticky situation where her reputation could get ruined in an instant, she tries to tell Kang to stop attacking, but it's clear as day that her body is telling all of us a different story, as it looks like it's craving more cheesy hot dogs. Nonetheless, the two continue on, but in the middle of their duel, Erdella accidentally shoots out some water from her fountain, which lands directly below them, making one of the knights wonder how the heck a sticky water droplet landed on him, since they are indoors after all. Shortly after getting hit by one droplet, another knight gets splattered with more on his shirt, and another could feel it on their helmet, so they all end up gathering together in a circle to see if someone really is up there. Luckily for these dudes, they didn't have the big brain capacity to try and smell the water droplet, because if they did, they would already know that the jig is up and that the Sussy Nation has already invaded. Suddenly, as the knights continue to stare at the windows up top, Kang ends up putting Erdella on display for all to see, but the only thing the knights can see is her face, so she tries her best to act like nothing is happening. She then quickly orders her knights to pay no attention to her, as she was just walking around the training grounds for a change of pace, but in reality, she's trying really hard to make sure she's keeping a straight face during the rice cake destroying. But as Erdella attempts to hold on for a few more seconds, our boy realizes he could shatter Erdella's straight face in front of all the knights, so he activates Gomu Gomu no Sussy Dragon to increase the size and strength of his attacks. Upon feeling the legendary beef burrito from Taco Bell enlarge instantly, Erdella knew this is a lost cause, so she quickly turns around and admits defeat, telling Kang that she will do it. She will actually teach him the skills, since she doesn't want to fall off the balcony by accident. However, Kang looks like he's too locked in his destroying mode, and upon hearing her request to finish the duel, Bro just ignores her and continues the rice cake destroying with increased speed and power, knowing full well Erdella is secretly enjoying every moment of their 1 versus 1. 30 seconds later, Erdella's Sussy Sharingan activated, allowing her to see in clear 4 eyes detail how much she's actually enjoying the company of the foreign intruder, causing the water fountain to unleash a torrent of sticky water on our boy. Upon seeing and feeling the downpour of Sussy liquid appearing on his armor, Kang finally recalls his dragon back to home base and retreats, but first he returned the favor by filling up the fountain with his own hand-crafted lactose-free milk. Nevertheless, as the two finish up their 1 versus 1 duel, a maid from earlier began investigating where the heck all the weird noises were coming from, and she's about to enter the same hallway as the 2 knight commanders. Luckily for the two, even though they were both caught in 4K, they were not caught doing the rice cake duel. Instead, the royal maid found both of them looking a little bit sus, while Erdella was still halfway through putting back on her magical shield down below. However, just as the two thought the coast was clear, the maid audibly gasps upon her looking at the ground, where she notices some substance dripping from Erdella, instantly making her think the two were up to no good. Upon hearing the maid call them out, Erdella looks down in utter disbelief and is unable to think of any excuse, but Kang saves the day by being quick-witted, asking the maid if she could clean up his drink, which he apparently accidentally spilled 2 seconds ago. As such, the royal maid swiftly disappeared to grab some cleaning supplies. But Erdella does not seem too pleased at what happened, even though our boy totally saved the day, right in time like my boy Superman. Nonetheless, the two make their escape before more helpers of the palace could show up to clean their mess. But me personally, I would not be letting anyone clean up someone else's special juice, since any non-Virgos would know what it smells like. Anyways, as one of the maids quickly sweeps the floor, she asked out loud what this water as sticky as Mountain Dew could be. But as she gossips with the others, we discover the fox maid Ryle sneakily hiding behind one of the walls undetected. Ryle then happily scratches behind her ears using her left hand whilst looking like an absolute sussy lord. But she also uses the other arm to help scratch the birthing area of an anime fox person. Regardless, Kang makes his way straight to the queen after parting ways with an Erdella that can barely walk, where he informs Burr that he has successfully gotten Erdella to teach him the ways of the sword. As the two continue to talk, they come upon the topic of how he was able to change Erdella's mind, since Burr was astonished someone as stubborn as her best friend was actually able to be open-minded for the first time, only for Kang to scratch his head and claim that he has no idea what made Erdella change her mind. Bro then zones out whilst letting Burr yap about the history of the kingdom, where he then has a flashback to just an hour ago, unable to believe his red dragon was able to shoot so much dragon-infused protein into his designated target. However, our boy snaps back to reality when he notices a book he picked up with the emblem of a dragon began glowing red, making him almost drop the stack of books because he knows he can't name 10 books. Suddenly, as Bert tells Kang that it's totally normal for anything infused with the power of the dragon to resonate with him whenever he's nearby, she starts fidgeting in the corner and acts totally weird, not like her usual graceful self. One blink later, Burr, full of the Asian blush, turns around and gap closes the distance between her and our boy, where she then clings onto him like a cola, causing the legendary half-dragon to evolve into a full one within half a second. Now unsure of what the heck got into the queen, our boy is left stun-locked, unable to move as he doesn't want to accidentally let the queen witness the powers of his dragon in person, as that would totally be not noble-like. To make matters worse, or should I say better, Burr started the full hand journey straight to Kang's hidden dragon, where she asks him if he wants to do a condensed version of the upcoming dragon ceremony with just her right now, since no one else needs to know what they are up to. One blink later, as Burr places both hands on Kang's prince dragon behemoth, her halo instantly turns red whilst her eyes begin transforming into its crimson form, so it looks like the sussy Fire Nation has arrived in town and captured the queen. But to everyone's surprise, as soon as the queen was about to pull out the special Royal Glock 9000 skill, Kang became a real man and not a menace by pushing her away, claiming that he needs space and air to operate as a half-dragon. However, Burr looks like she turned into some kind of zombie, so she kept trying to become a duelist to entry frag, trying her best to attack the seat in front of her, only for our boy to actually try his best to defend himself from the queen. Eventually, after a few seconds of rejection, Burr finally comes to her senses and asks what the heck happened to her, since she apparently has no recollection of the past few minutes, but her halo is still bright red. After thoroughly explaining to Burr what she was trying to do just a few seconds ago, she gets super embarrassed after hearing about her sussy actions, so she starts yapping again about how Sultan royalty, especially her royal line, have always had some kind of special connection. And since Burr's half-dragon, they might have briefly connected through physical contact, which has basically not happened in centuries, causing a major mental shift within her, meaning that she's next on the rice cake destroying block because it's within her bloodline to become a sussy master. Nonetheless, our boy chooses not to take the advice from his mentor, the pervy sage busy whispering in his ear, telling him to rip apart the royal dress right in front of him. Instead, he tries his best to return the queen back to her normal self, so it looks like our boy actually has an innocent crush on someone. Anyways, after getting rid of her crimson eyes and dethroning the sussy nation within her, she gives Kang the mission to write down whatever happens to him on a daily basis, since they do not have an accurate account of a half-dragon, as it's been way too long since the last one. She then shifts her gaze straight back to his mighty banana tree, where she notices Kang's prince behemoth looking like it's roaring to exit its cage, but she apologizes as she's not sure how to help him out with his problem. It's then revealed that she's been researching about dragons and half-dragons all her life, but the information about them is kind of like a blur due to nations fighting each other, leading to books about them being burnt or destroyed. And now the only kingdom with any knowledge about the godlike creatures lays within Sultan, and it will now be up to Kang to make sure they can retrieve as much knowledge as they can, starting from this day on. Suddenly, as the queen continued on, Real bursts through the door upon Burr's request, where Kang discovers she's going to accompany him 24/7 to help him produce the only living records of a dragon. Upon being reintroduced again like some kind of tutorial quest, Real proudly lets our boy know that her special skills are related to her ears and nose, so she winks at him and claims that she knows everything that happens within the walls of this palace. She then stares him down, letting Kang know that she knows everything there is to know about him, including what he does secretly at night, causing our boy to feel like his heart drop as the jig might be up due to this freak of a fox. Luckily, with Real alluding to her knowing what he's done with Erdella, she doesn't spill the beans to Burr. Instead, she just follows our boy to his room where he starts his mission of trying to gain more knowledge about the dragons. After an hour of studying the ancient text from lifetimes ago, thanks to his dragon powers automatically translating it for him like Google Translate, our boy gets annoyed that Real keeps reorganizing his room whilst continually disturbing him like some kind of annoying sibling. Bro then tries to take a quick break by going on a brisk walk, but Kang can't believe that Ryle is actually following him with every step he takes, and even when he goes to the bathroom, she's out there taking notes about the splashing sounds a half-dragon creates. Eventually, he goes to sleep absolutely tired after all the 1-versus-1 duels he had with Erdella and being forced to do some studying, but as he's about to hit REM sleep, he feels someone enter his bed. It's Real. This time though, she's wearing full black with tail fully out, where she then starts playfully poking Kang's back, whispering to him how she knows everything she's done in this room with another elf.